opportunity. It's one of the, I think he's the all-time winningest active coach in college basketball, and Rick Barnes. Tremendous respect for the job he's done from George Mason, Providence, obviously Texas, and now Tennessee, building success. And he's got another great basketball team. They've got a young man that we're very familiar with in Gillespie. They've got one of the top freshmen, projected, I think, top 5 pick, and Ament, and another young man that we're familiar with in Akpara, one of the elite shot blockers in college basketball. So, you know what you get when you see a Rick Barnes team, tough-minded, will try to bully you defensively. They're always one of the top defensive teams, and then in Gillespie and Ament, they've got a couple guys who offensively can really get it going. So great challenge, great opportunity. Excited to be in Nashville. Excited for our fans to have another opportunity to see us play quality opponents, and this will be no different than what we continue to do in the last 2 games. Had dogfights right down to the wire, and should be a terrific basketball game, and excited to be in Nashville.
With it being the 3rd straight year you're playing them, do you see a lot of carryover from the last games into how you prep here?
Well, he's not going to change what he does or his base, and obviously we haven't either. The people have changed. There's no Dalton Connect, or there's no, they've lost, Zakai and, Gainey and some very, very talented players that were Meshack, guys that are in the NBA. So, he's doing it with different bodies, as we all are in today's world. But, Rick's never changed his core values, what he stands for, what he believes in. It's bred nothing but success at every stop. And they're going to be tough-minded. They're one of the elite rebounding teams in all of college basketball. They're every bit as big, or not, if not bigger, than us. So it's a very physical basketball team, and Rick's teams are always that.
What's this last week been like for you guys, and what have you wanted to get out of it?
Yeah, I hope better conditioning. We've been in a team that's not been in very good shape because of all the injuries. Team that was, trying to have sustainability throughout games, just simply because of conditioning. Before the UConn game, Stojakovic didn't practice all week, rolled an ankle. Z freak accident, steps in a metal bleacher at the facility we're practiced in and rolls his ankle, doesn't practice for 2 days before the UConn game. We just need conditioning. We need guys to get up and down and run and not be fatigued. And Tommy's gaining in that area. Dre needs it. Mahilo needs it. So it's hard to do a ton of conditioning when you're playing a lot of games. So we've had 2 or 3 days to kind of catch up on that. But the mental part of that is what we're playing through fatigue, and playing through some of that is I think one of the things we've really tried to gain on here the last couple of days.
What else did you emphasize getting a full week to practice?
Yeah, I think that our shot quality was tremendous against UConn, one of the top defenses in the country. The frustrating thing is we were 13 of 31 on twos. We're one of the top 2-point teams in the country, and a lot of layups missed. I blame a lot of that on fatigue. I believe just a mental, not tough enough mentality. I thought we did some really good things defensively. Maybe the best half we've had defensively, it was in the second half of that game. Now we've got to put all those things together, and it's we've got to get we've got to get everybody on the same page. We've got to get Merck and Keaton and Andre and Kylan and all those guys playing well together, not just one at a time. And we've really tried to work through that process and find some consistency on that end.
Kylan's been a guy that you can play defense against UConn. Just are you worried at all about just having a lot of him early in the season? Or?
No, I don't ever worry about that. That's an NBA mentality where guys have to sit out because they're tired. That's a bunch of crap. He's 20 years old, excuse me. Guys don't get tired playing 40-minute games. And the reason he doesn't get tired is because he's in every single practice and in every single rep. He's conditioned to handle that. So I don't worry about that for 1 second.
How does a week of practice, does it help like Tommy get back into the groove, or Mihailo, having a week of practice and no games?
You can't be any good if you don't practice. Yes, just practice helps. You can't, when you're tired, you breathe hard, your head moves, you're not as sharp mentally. You can't miss as many practices as those guys have missed and what we've missed, and be sharp. And in a team sport where there's multiple other people on the court with you, there's got to be some chemistry to go with that. So absolutely, Tommy's he's gone from just trying to get through practice to now he's in the gym extra, and he's getting his shots back up, and he's doing all the extra stuff that comes with that. And we're seeing a heavy uptick of guys just because they're feeling better and in better shape, getting in the extra work that they need. So we've had very few guys that have, I think Ben, Jake, and Kylan, I think, are the only guys that have, and Blake are the only guys that have been in every practice.
I guess when you talk about getting Kylan, Dre, David all kind of at their best at the same time, is there a way you approach that in practice, or?
Yeah, just practice. It's just the chemistry of playing well. I mean, I don't expect everybody to make, every ball or do this. Everybody's going to have their night based on matchups, but it's just the fluidity of it we talk a lot about pace. It's about the pace of with which they play together, and I think one of the great assets of this team is the chemistry with which we can play together and play off each other. And again, that's one of the things we're striving for.
What's your focus offensively against Tennessee's defense that forces a lot of turnovers and tries to contest the three a lot?
Yeah, and well, they've also got one of the leading shot blockers. I think you take what's there. Almost every game of there's been some droughts. Teams have had those. I don't expect those to not happen. You'd like for it not to happen, but you've got to move the ball. You've got to, you let them get into their shell and get into their gaps, and their length is very imposing. It's no different than last year. You've got to create advantages where they're there, whether it's through ball screen, whether it's through post-ups or drives. You've got to find those advantages, and then you got to be very, very unselfish and create what we call the blender. When they give it to you.
Talked a lot about toughness and grit on defense after the UConn game. How do you feel like guys have responded from that standpoint?
I hope better. If we don't have that, then again, it's. I go back to the conditioning piece. I mean, we've just got to get in better shape and tougher, and have the ability to play through, and win battles. It's not always about winning the war. We want to do that, but it's about the battles of every possession. And you can't take possessions off. You can't take and make mental mistakes because you're fatigued. And we've had way too much of that. And it's not like we want to do it playing guys in literally big games to just get in basketball shape. And that's not the ideal way to do it. So mental toughness, physical toughness, it's the it's the schoolyard brawl mentality. You've got to have that and be ready to go to war against a team like Tennessee.
Have you had this before, Coach, where your teams have to play in the shade?
No.
During this
No. We had a little bit of it last year with Tommy being sick, and unfortunately then Merez's injury. But guys get out. But it's been so many. It's been I think we've had 4 practices. We've had everybody, and so we'll be without Jason Jaxtis. He's had as good a week of practice, and Jason got concussed yesterday. Just caught an accidental elbow, so he's not in practice, and it's crazy. But we've got to fight through it. No one's making any excuses, and we're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there.
With the size and just the different bigs that Tennessee will pair together, how much different of a matchup is this compared to some of the smaller lineups you've seen so far?
Well, it's very much like what we saw with Florida. It's very much like what we saw in UConn. UConn can put some big lineups out there. Their size can be on the perimeter. Nate plays on the perimeter a lot and can slide even to the 2 some. At 6'9" or 6'10", he's got a lot of Will Riley type abilities. So they can throw some physical girth at you that's not quite as big as Okpara and Phillips but they've got a bevy of front court players, and our guys are going to have to be ready to handle whoever's out there.
After the UConn game, Dan talked about Mihailo and just his ability to kind of influence a defense with his dribble and create that way. Just when you bring him off the bench, what's that do to your offense? What kind of difference does that make?
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things that, again, he's a great advantage creator. He creates advantages with the ball screen and with the bounce, and did an elite job of it. Would have had a fantastic game in his 17 minutes had he made a couple layups. Just missed a couple uncontested layups, but he does that. He's got that knack. His dribble's low. He's very, very fast, and can really stress and bring 2 to the ball as quickly as possible through the ball screen, and he's got the ability to make every pass, and that's something that is, again, as his conditioning goes and we become more comfortable with that, it gives us a different look with Tommy popping, with Z rolling and being able to catch lobs and being able to spray and force tags. It just gives us a piece that is very nice to have, and we've been inconsistent in having that.
How much do you feel like the late part of that UConn game can be kind of a building block for Tommy?
Yeah, it's his best stint. There's no doubt about that. It was, I think he just played himself into, some level of comfort and some level of form. And he's had a great week, and he's been in the gym every day shooting extra balls and being dialed into assignments, and that's something that, again, when you're flat on your back like he was for 3 weeks, it's hard to feel comfortable until you actually get out there and have to do it and feel comfortable doing it.
College basketball is apparently going to buy next year. Some college teams. What's your take on?
Let's go. Why not?
Would you go?
Oh, absolutely. If they want us, we're going. We would do that in a heartbeat. Why would we not want to expand worldwide and expand our brand? And my daughter was there, said it's absolutely the most fantastic place she's ever been. Safe. She said it's hot. Yeah, it was. I'm all for things that might become a little different and help grow our game, and we're an international school with so many such diversity. Why would we not want to take part in something like that? So if that opportunity ever comes, I'm sure sooner than later the Illini will be there.
You've talked about Merck's practice leading up to games kind of being reflected in those games. How would you evaluate his week of practice?
I won't tell you that.
No.
So he's been, I don't want to tip a hand one way or the other, but he's becoming, with the intensity we've had in practices this week, he's doing just fine.
I guess with Dubai, I don't know, it's way compared to Maui. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, obviously, more travel, but is coming back in a different direction okay with you?
I don't know. I don't even know when the timing of it, the event is, and any of that. But I don't know how many games it is. I know very little about it. I know there's been people reach out to Joey about it, but anything that grows our game, I'm going to be for and helps do that. But I haven't looked into all the parameters of it. But just on the surface, it looks like something that we'd all want to be a part of.
Outside of Jason, assuming tie, anything else injury-wise worth noting?
Well, we haven't practiced yet today, so hopefully no.
Fine, thank you.
Thank you.